where people have houses like up in the water in the swamp and saw a bunch of wildlife and stuff like that. I have a lot of fun doing those type of things. So if you're going with like family or like even a group of friends, I think finding time to do something like that would be really cool. If you're getting in on, like Wednesday, find time to do something cool like that on Thursday. Definitely something to recommend.
Yeah, definitely. I went and checked out that area as well where the Cafe Du Monde was. Went there, checked out the whole like market area.
French Quarter.
I'll run you through.
Pretty cool. But yeah, I think I don't have much else to say as far as that goes, But yeah, make sure you check out other stuff at the venue or just kind of the city in general.
Yeah,
lock yourself in your hotel room.
The other, well, you have like a bad experience with that or something?
No, well, not lock specifically, but yeah, don't. don't. There's a lot of other cool stuff to do.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make day 2. But yeah, if you are competing, you make day 1, you make day 2. You're gonna be busy. It's gonna eat up most of your time usually. So.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, like, I think it'd be kind of the normal tips we give to anyone going to their first Pokemon tournament. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Kind of enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
Just kind of take it all in and take each round as it comes. It's a long day if you've never competed at a tournament like this before. So it can be a slog for sure, but a fun experience. So just enjoy it.
Yeah, that goes for sure without saying. I think this applies to like so many factors in the Pokemon TCG that like newer players or players who are trying to figure it out a little bit, like you're probably just overthinking. You're overthinking a lot. You just need to stop overthinking stuff, from deck choice to tech choice to preparation for the tournament, or like, am I prepared enough, or what do I need to do to prepare more? Just like play some Pokemon, get a good night's sleep, and then just play Pokemon the next day. Definitely too much overthinking in the Pokemon TCG as far as like people who are trying to like get more competitive.
All right, well, before we get to Guess That Flavor Text, we do need to take a moment to thank our fantastic sponsor, Dragon Shield, for supporting us here at the Uncommon Energy podcast. Of course, Dragon Shield makes some of the best card gaming and tabletop gaming products on the market. We love them for their sleeves. I use the products for my cube as well, the Magic Carpet XL, the cube shells. Azul's been rocking one of the deck boxes as well recently. Are you got your colors picked out for your sleeves this weekend?
Yeah, I didn't use them at Portland, so I've got the amber and the amethyst that they sent
what?
me. How do you say it?
Amethyst.
Amethyst.
A tamethyst?
Amethyst.
Amethyst.
Amber and amethyst. So I'm bringing those with me to rock at NAIC, and
I unleash you.
yeah, hopefully we'll need second pair because I usually re-sleeve going to day 2, so hopefully I'm going to be using both from day 1 into day 2. But yeah, huge shout out to Dragon Shield, of course, as always, for sponsoring the podcast. Link in the description, take you over there. Code UEPOD, UEPOD will get you 5% off and directly supports us here on the podcast. Make sure you're prepared for NAIC. And
yeah, I'm also going to leave a link down below for these amber sleeves specifically. So if you want to play Pokemon just like Azul GG this weekend, pick up the amber sleeves. I'll leave a link for them, affiliate link down in the description. Thanks as always to Dragon Shield for supporting us here at the Uncommon Energy podcast.
I guess they actually, if you're going to NAIC, they probably want to arrive in time for NAIC.
No, it's a little late. Yeah. Well, I don't know. They do. It says on their website delivery in 2 to 10 business days. So
they are pretty quick sometimes.
They can be quick. They can be like, say if you're not coming until Thursday, there's a shot. There's a shot.
If you're local,
I would say you maybe should check out your local card shop and get some Dragon Shields there.
Yeah, that might be at this point, that's probably the move. You're trying to rock the Dragon Shields at NAIC, but going to next season,
you endure this.
DragonShield.com, code UEPOD. And up next, guess that flavor text. Chip, we've had a little bit of back and forth recently. I had a little bit of a slowdown last week, though. I got a 3-pointer, you got a 4-pointer, and then last week I got 0 points. And a lot of people were disappointed that I was not able to guess Porygon. But I don't know. Once I learned it was Porygon, it didn't like all of a sudden stand out to me. I was like, oh, of course. Porygon. How could I have not? How would I have like? There's been other ones in the past where like they've You've told me what it is. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I probably could have got that if I thought about it a little bit harder. But a lot of people were like, oh, obviously it's Porygon. I was just like, sure, yeah. To me, no.
This
But
guy tagged us on Twitter where he was listening to it driving. It's his dash cam footage of him yelling at his car stereo, not yelling at Azul, really, specifically for not getting Porygon
yeah,
correctly. Very funny.
definitely funny. But this week, I'm picking a card. I'm gonna read the flavor text, and the Chip has to try and guess which Pokemon belongs to the card and the flavor text. For each lifeline Chip uses, he'll get 1 less point. What set the card is from, what stage the card is, then read an attack name. If he uses none of them, he'll get 4 points. Chip, are you ready for this week's flavor text?
Ready and looking to extend my lead. I'm currently ahead 37 to 32.
So you want to play the game?
Let's go. Let's hear it.
And I'm trying to make-
I don't think I'll get
There's
it.
been like a couple. It's only happened once where I've like, well, once I actually
can't
read a
dodge
flavor
this.
text that we had already used before. You're like, wait, we've already used that one.
Darkness.
But
This
then
is
I've had a
just
couple
the
times where I, like, have to check
text at the bottom of the
spreadsheets.
card
Shout
that
out to
talks about
Timmy
the
Games
Pokemon.
for
So
keeping track
Oh,
of
so I just gotta guess the Pokemon in that.
guess
Yeah, guess the
flavor
Pokemon,
text
yeah.
game,
Okay.
where I've checked the spreadsheet to be like, this one sounds familiar. Have I ever used this one before? I'll go check the spreadsheet. I just wanted to check real fast before I read this one. But this week's flavor text is: in the moment that it gulps down its prey, the inside of its shell is exposed. To this day, no one has ever seen that sight.
Tear you apart.
Kingdra?
The moment it gulps down its prey, the inside of its shell is exposed. To this day, no one has ever seen that moment. Is that right?
Never seen that sight.
Stronger.
Seen that sight. Huh. Well. I mean, when you said gulp at first, my first thought was gulpin. But then, obviously, as we got a little deeper, this is not going to be gulpin. I'm thinking some sort of water-type Pokemon. Exposes shell. Read that bit to me one more time.
Hold up.
let me know if you want to
In
pause
the moment that
to
it
try to get it.
Wait, all of it? Just read it again.
No,
Yeah, just read it again, that's
you can
fine.
pause though.
In the moment that it gulps down its prey, the inside of its shell is exposed, but to this day, no one has ever seen
Cloyster?
that sight.
The inside of its shell is exposed.
I
Very
think my guess is gonna be Cloyster.
No one has ever seen that, though. I mean, could it be something like,
Now, I'll tear you apart.
I don't think this Pokemon has, like, a shell, but I'm thinking of, like, Toxapex or Marini, because those Pokemon... I feel like most of the Toxapex flavor texts mention Corsola specifically. Because they have, like, there's, like, it's like a Heatmore Durant type thing there. I guess it could also be like maybe a Cloyster or a Shelder type thing. I'm thinking of just like water Pokemon that have shells that we
Yeah,
don't
what if this
see
isn't a
all of
water
the Pokemon
Pokemon?
typically. Marini Toxapex doesn't really have a shell.
That would be funny.
I feel like there's fire Pokemon that
Also,
have
when
shells
you started talking
that
about gulping, I thought
would
of like
be similar.
Cramorant. Well, come on, bro, hold it together. Hold it together, buddy. I thought of like Cramorant. It has like gulp missiles, kind of its like signature thing. I'm gonna use some lifelines here. I'm gonna
It's my turn.
try to whittle this down. Let's start with what set the card is from, as always.
Vivid Voltage.
Now, I'll tear you apart.
No, I would not know.
Let's hear an attack name.
You can't dodge
Takedown.
this. You can't
Takedown.
dodge
That's not
this.
helpful.
Now, for the
It's
truth.
not helpful at all.
So one thing with that's funny that you say that because like, well, I never know, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, these attacks are not going to help Chip at all, and it's like I say one of them, and you're like, oh, there's only 3 Pokemon in the history of the Pokemon TCG that could possibly have. I'm like, oh shoot.
Yeah, you got Aurora Beam. I think helped me a lot one time for like Seal
Yeah.
Dugong or something like that.
I'll run you through.
Man, I don't know. Shell, water. I mean,
Now,
I kind of think
The
there's
darkness.
a Cloyster in that set. What stage is the card?
It is a stage 1.
And I feel like Cloyster could have takedown,
I
right? As an
unleash
attack. That's like an old school OG attack, and Cloyster
can't
is a
dodge
Gen
this.
1 Pokemon.
tremble.
I don't.
You endure
I just
this,
can't like quite
tremble.
picture the cloister from Vivid Voltage, but it like sounds correct that there would maybe be one. I think there's a Rapid Strike cloister, so maybe there wouldn't be one like released so close together. All right, let me just hear the flavor text one last time, and I'll lock something in.
The moment
My
that it
guess
gulps down its
is
prey, the inside of its shell is
cloister.
exposed, but to this day, no one has ever seen that
It's
sight.
my turn.
Man. Sword and shield.
I'll run you
Let me
through.
think of like the sword and shield inside of its shell. Oh, could it be Dreadnought? Maybe actually. Dreadnought.
I unleash you.
What does how does the inside of a Dreadnought shell get exposed? Dreadnought would definitely have takedown. I know for a fact it was in Vivid Voltage because Charizard was in Vivid Voltage and Dreadnought was the opposite theme deck that released alongside Charizard.
Now.
You know what?
Tear you apart. You can't dodge this.
Cloister's not gulping anything. Let's be real,
It's
but
my turn.
but Dreadnought's got a massive mouth, so he's gulping for sure. Actually, no, he'd probably be chomping, right? He's not gulping, he's chomping. Oh, let's just go with the Dreadnought. I gotta pick something. Lock it in, Dreadnought.
It is not Dreadnought.
Well,
I'll give you the other attack name, which definitely helps way more than what I was gonna than what the first one I used. The other attack name is Double
The true
KO.
power.
that helps so much more. Why does that help?
There's only like 2 Pokemon that like knock out themselves and knock out
Tear
your
you
opponents.
apart.
Oh,
You can't dodge this.
inside of a shell. Is it like Wheezing or something? Wheezing doesn't have a shell.
It's Fortress.
I would not have gotten that.
Fortress?
Yeah, I knew this was gonna be a tough one. The Pokemon that I thought you would maybe end up on would be like Glalie. Like, when I read that, I was like, that's the one I came
My
to.
turn.
Besides, actually, Fortress, but
Wow.
it is that one.
Fortress. Wow.
Now.
Yeah, I don't
Tear
know.
you apart.
But it makes when you read it, then you all of a sudden you look at it, you're like, oh, there its eyes. What is on the inside
Bro,
of the shell?
it doesn't have a mouth. How is it gulping
it's-
anything?
But the shell opens, like you see right there where its eyes. It opens up. Whatever's in there comes out, gulps them up, and goes back in.
I don't know
darkness
that that's how
dwells
that
within me.
works. I don't think
I
that's
would
how
have,
that
I have
works.
to assume. How else would it work?
I invoke the past.
Maybe
I
this is
don't
just
know.
like maybe this flavor text was never supposed to exist on this card. Someone's just trolling.
The moment that it gulps down its prey. Wow.
Where's it? Where is it? It's got to open up, right?
I'll run you
I feel
through.
like this was a hard one for sure. Y'all have to let me know in the comments if I should have gotten this one or if you were equally as struggling as I was. Why did I lock in? Oh, I locked in on the water Pokemon thing because of the word shell. So that's kind of like
Yeah,
why I
I
went
misread
down that.
Turtles.
Yeah. And I knew there was a Dreadnought in this set, so
It's my
Yeah,
turn.
I didn't think you'd ever get. I thought this was a pretty tough one for sure.
yeah,
With,
unfortunate.
I don't,
Ooh.
yeah, none of that things would ever make you think of Fortress, unless I had said Double KO. That's the only thing I could. Would was like, all right, maybe if I say double, so I have to say takedown, for sure.
Classic moment in the PKMN cards comment section. Does Double
my
KO
turn.
work with Altered Creation GX?
Tremble.
Knock them out, get the extra prizes. 4 energy to do that.
Tremble. It's my
Might
turn.
as well little Possession, I'd say.
Does it?
Tremble.
No, I'm pretty sure. I'd have to read the card again, but I'm pretty sure
I unleash.
it's when it's knocked out by damage from an attack, right?
You can't
Don't
dodge
remember.
this.
Knocked out by damage, yeah.
Okay, so the answer is no.
This is in effect.
Unlucky for the Fortress ADP player.
Yeah, MS91. I hope you find a better combo.
Has that ever? Just thinking about that, has that ever happened? Have you ever seen someone like play a deck at a
It's my
tournament
turn.
where
What
the combo
is
just
this?
doesn't work?
What the?
They like
Not-
brought a deck to a tournament thinking a combo worked and it just didn't.
I'm certain it has happened.
It's
I've
my
definitely more commonly seen people queue up on ladder with stuff like that.
You can't dodge this.
Stuff
Yeah.
just doesn't work the way they think it does. I'm sure I've probably done that at some point.
Actually, speaking of that, I played against a Grimmsnarl player who had the protective
Now,
goggles
welcome
in their Grimmsnarl deck. And I put it on the
darkness.
Grimmsnarl, and then I knocked him out with a Galvantula anyways because
can't
it only
dodge
works on
this.
basics to remove the weakness.
Oh,
I got
Like, they were
2
like, "I got
minutes
the
to get to
tech. I
floor
removed the weakness
78.
from and honestly, it would be pretty good in Grimmsnarl, I think, because a lot of the answers that people are playing to be able
I
to
have
want to kill
2
the Grimmsnarl, like
minutes
Jolton
left
Fox
to
and
get to
stuff like
floor
that. Her
78.
answer
I hope I
is
can get there.
grass Pokemon.
How much were you
Yeah, protecting
you're
Kronos.
I'm on floor 73 right now.
I remember having a moment
Oh
like
my.
that
Lord.
where someone retreated their Pokemon with a rescue board attached that had then they didn't have to discard the energy, and I was like, dude, what the heck is going on? Why did they not have to discard the energy? I like checked every single effect on the field. I was like, I don't think I missed anything. Like, how did they retreat this Pokemon and not have to discard energy? It's because they had less than 30 HP remaining, which is the secondary effect of the rescue board. That was like when the card came out. I remember that.
Yeah, I had that realization literally. Well, no, I've definitely done it before, but I had like a real realization of that, of like it actually being like actual like thing that can come up in a matchup playing Baridon into Dragapult.
Yeah.
Because they punch your Iron Hands for 200 damage, and you can go rescue board, retreat to Raichu, knockout. And I didn't, I didn't have it come up ever in Merida.
That's like a broken combo right there.
Yeah, I came up in Vancouver, and I was like, I remember that was like a thing. Like, oh wait, I just retreat for and I Raichu knockout. Cool. Like that's actually pretty good in this matchup. Like that's something that would actually come up.
That's really fun.
Tremble.
But yeah.
The darkness.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the meat of the episode here. NAIC tier list. So what we're gonna do for this? Shoutouts to Trainer Hill, great resource for these tier lists, and also just for information about what's doing well in online tournaments. We're gonna be looking at all of the decks that have done the best in online tournaments in the last few weeks, and place them in where we believe they belong on this tier list, and also kind of give our thoughts on the meta share that we think they'll have at NAIC. It's a little difficult to predict, I think.
Can you endure this?
Nah, I'm
The
not
tournament's
making
going to be so
478.
big, right?
Tremble.
Well,
I can get
guess
to
does
76 and that's
really
about it.
Does it really change it that much? Maybe not.
For the true power.
I think when tournaments are really small, that's when.
I almost feel like the bigger
can
it
you
gets, though, the
endure
more
this?
top heavy it gets, right? Because more people,
Well, I guess it would
more
be
people
true,
will
right?
just roll up
I can
and
get to
play.
77.
Like, you'll get more, like, less dedicated players, right? People who are just showing up.
Yeah,
with a
the
deck
ratio,
that they
yeah.
know a little bit, and are just showing up to play, right? And those people will favor playing things like Raging Bolt, Dragapult, Gardevoir, like the most popular decks in the format. So it probably weights it a little top heavy, if anything, right?
The ratio of like innovators to non-innovators get bigger as the tournament gets bigger.
Probably, right? Because the innovators are already going to every single tournament, right?
But if it's 100 to 1 across the board, every 100 to 1 players that can add. to a
Nah,
tournament is
76
still
is the most that I can get.
Right.
I
That's
don't,
tough.
but I don't know that we're
Bro.
adding an innovator for every
Damn.
100 players.
I got to
Yeah, I don't know
53%
where
on
the-
77.
And like some of the
So
some of
it's
the
definitely
innovators we're
doable,
adding,
but I need to
they're
play
playing their,
my
homebrew
my
single
early
prize Porygon
voice
rocket stack.
very
You have
well.
other rings?
Yeah.
Are you
I
playing
have
those
my
also?
I have
Recently,
my
feel like it's about, like,
roar,
I think
but
it feels
there's no
like if
point
the
in me
tournament's
using
more than
roar.
1,000 players, like that's where it hits
Well,
like
you can
the.
use roar for harder
actually,
stuff,
like, the
but also
general
like maybe weapon
major tournament
jump, risk
metagame. Maybe
taker.
it needs to be a little bit more than that. Maybe it's like
I
1,500
mean,
plus.
do you think
though.
Crisis would be good?
But I feel like generally when we
No,
look
right?
at
Because
Sure.
that's only a
from
Culver ring.
tournaments from like the past 2 seasons,
I mean,
the
whatever
tournaments,
ring you
at
can
least
get.
over 1,000
you know.
players. But even though some of the ones that are just like under 1,000 players, generally the
Let's see
metagames
what I
that I'm
have. I
tracking
have
pretty
critical